we talk about how society, policies, communities, or neighborhoods and family mind can really shape the future of our society and especially the future of families. Because we know it takes a village to raise a kid, but how does this village really look like? And today we have Philipp Witzmann from nebenan.de. He is the CEO and managing director since 3 years, but in overall since 6 years is nebenan.de. Nebenan.de is one community in Germany, so we're talking about the German product, but probably Philipp will tell us more, who brings together neighborhoods and households to really help out on daily use cases. So Philipp, welcome that you are on board. I'm super, super thrilled. And I want to share one tiny anecdote how we met, because I think it's what Nebenan is all about. So I got a ping of a person I didn't know, and by the time it was Nura, and Nura pinged me, "Hey, we just exchanged on nebenan.de because you were selling something." And she pinged me not on nebenan.de. Well, we had a thread on nebenan.de, but she pinged me on LinkedIn because she had been following me for quite some while because we're both moms and I'm talking about mom stuff. And that's exactly the point. Nebenan.de brings people together that maybe they wouldn't have been together or their paths wouldn't have crossed. And this is something really, really important because if we think about society today, we do see that isolation and fears are there. So, my first question to you, Philipp, would be if you think about the most digitally connected world that we're living right now in, yet loneliness and social isolation are rising. Why do you think that is so?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the invite. I mean, the answer is quite simple. If loneliness is rising because people are spending more times on their phone and with their phone, and the larger majority of people doesn't really recognize that the phones have one incentive. All the platforms, mostly American platforms, they are have the incentive to earn more money to advertising, and how they do it is basically showing you content that is giving you dopamine and bring you in these like doom scrolling loopholes. So people start disconnecting from each other. Everyone sees like a reality, imagining things that this reality is the whole reality, but at the end it's a suited reality. And if people then in the internet, on social media platforms, come together in discussions, these discussions quite fast polarize and explode and bring people even further out of each other because they don't understand why the other person is not understanding, because basically they've seen a different part of the same world, without acknowledging and understanding why this is so, and without acknowledging and understanding that there's basically different realities. At Nebenan, basically, we don't use algorithms, and we try to basically bridge people together in the online world so they can meet in person. So we understand ourselves as a digital bridge for human interaction that happens as a follow function of like connecting digitally. Kind of, I hope when you gave away mom stuff, or when you sold something or gave something away on Nebenan, very likely you met this neural person in person. So you connected in real life, and maybe something bigger is going out of that. That basically is the mission that we have, bringing old neighborhoods together, bringing people that live local and close to you together in order also to fight loneliness. There's one number that I can share before I give you the mic back. We know that after 3 months, 30% of the people that sign up feel less lonely, because we ask them, how lonely do you feel when you sign up? After 3 months, already 30% feel less lonely, which is quite an achievement.
And Philipp, that's exactly the point. When I sell stuff on nebenan.de or I ask for a drilling machine because I don't have one, I do meet in person. And with my friend, who actually become my friend, we also go on coffee chats. We send us VMs. So we have now this bonding, which was based on nebenan.de. Um, Referring to what you said initially about the isolation loneliness piece, and we see this as well. So when we look at our target audience being mothers and fathers and parents, usually first time parents, they try to get validation. They don't know how it works raising kids. They try to seek information on the internet, and the doom scrolling is exactly the biggest challenge that they're facing, because you do see other parents doing exciting and experimentally great job, but in reality raising families is not a task that should be handled by one person or even two person. It really needs that village. And when I think about the village, and I want to hear your perspective about it, for me, it is more a social infrastructure that you are currently, or that you have built with Nebenan.de. So, do you see society, or what do you think about societies being exactly that level of support families need?
I think what happens is like this infrastructure is still present. Like if you ask and if you have access to people that you kind of trust because they're real, then you get so much positive replies, and people are willing to help. People are willing to contribute, and people don't ask for anything in return. It's just like the situation of asking someone if you move to a new city and you don't know the neighbors, right? Like this is like a big step, and in a polarized world that we are living in, this step got even bigger because people are not used to ask people that they meet in real life, and they got the experience that if I ask somebody online, I will most likely get like something negative back. So that's, I think, what is the achievement that we have is we built this trusted environment because people have to sign up with their real names in their real neighborhoods. But and so like this is, and I also like we have two kids, and as a first parent I will always remember the first night we took our son home, the insecurity that you have. And I think also like one thing you see on the internet, like or like in social media platforms, is you see people that do everything very awesome, or you see a lot of scary stuff, right? And being kind of insecure because you always feel I can never do it as awesome as others, or being like advised by fear is basically two things that are very opposite to what you should do. You should find a good middle ground. So you need to find advisors that basically calm you down, that basically tell you everything is okay. There are so many other people in the world that raised kids in a good way. So it's very unlikely that you will fail. So I think and getting access to these advisors, getting access to people that are real people in the real world, that don't be shiny or scary, is basically what we need as parents, in my view.
Philip, I couldn't agree more. That's why we love the community aspect of Nebenan.de. And if you think about more about the future of tech in generally, do you think that we unintentionally outsource the village by having doom scrolling of Facebook, or outsourcing community building? What is your view on this?
I don't think we are outsourcing. I think like what I observe is that the acknowledgement, young people smoke less, young people drink less, and
Mhm.
more and more people understand that algorithms are not helping them to stay connected to the real world. So we see social media fatigue that drives people to us. We had the last year we had the most users that we ever had joining the platform. And we don't spend, basically we have 85% is organic or recommendation. So we really grow by out of our community, which is very, very cool. But what I see is like we might always need tech as an enabler to have people as an
Mhm.
impulse driver, because I don't think tech will go away. So I think the further we proceed, and it will become very important that like trust on tech and trust in tech is something that you can rely on, and that. But I still believe it still needs a village to raise a kid, because if shit hits the fan, you need real hands, you need real people, especially with kids, to be there, to support,
Mhm.
to help. Like I had this, I spent the weekend until yesterday in Copenhagen on a very nice conference, but my wife got sick, so we really relied on our neighbors. Like one went to the pharmacy and brought her some medicine on Sunday, and then another family's grandma came and picked up my daughter and brought her to Kita. So this is really like, and this happened basically 2 days ago. So you need, when shit hit the fan, tech is not helping, because I couldn't program an algorithm to bring my kid to Kita where I trust, So that this is something that where I think you will always need the village.
And I'm smiling. You see my smile going from one ear to the other, because it's basically this: AI cannot change a diaper, AI cannot clean, AI cannot cook yet. So I'm saying yet. Let's see what the future brings.
Yeah, sure.
Some things coming along the way, also to facilitate care work in a more easier way for families, but also for elderly care. But what you're exactly saying is exactly on point, and that's why we also believe it needs tech to facilitate such orchestration of situations like a child is sick or a parent is sick and a business trip. So what you just described of picking up medicine, of cooking, of having a play date with your child while the other child is sick, has so much orchestrational management duties around it, that if you would just rely on your phone and call, you wouldn't get it done in a smooth way. That's why we from Family Mind AI say it absolutely takes a village. It takes human contact. And we want to facilitate with the modern technology that the whole orchestrational piece and mental load around managing your family is done by AI. So the physical bonding with your neighbors, with your family really matters when you spend with people is center of what we're doing. So I'm just smiling because it's again showing that tech is the bridge to bringing relief to society, like in this case, families. And I want to move a little bit into another direction. And I would like to know from you, Philip, if you think about the neighborhood of the future, and is there one thing that would make family life easier? And if there's one thing, what should it be?
That's a
So
very
if
good
you could
question.
redesign neighborhoods.
I would like what I see on our platform, and is something that I miss somehow in the neighborhoods. This is trust. Like when
Mhm,
I'd lived abroad for a couple of years, and in Canada, people don't lock their doors. They have trust that nobody will break in, and it sounds like really like
mhm,
idiotic. And someone say, yeah, this guy, like, of course, nobody will, everyone will keep locking their doors. But what I might mean is like there's so much fear out there, and all this like all 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 technical algorithms are driven towards fear because the dopamine part is stronger, you stay longer, you surround yourself with negative thoughts. And I think being light, being trustful with the people that live around you, right?
mhm,
Don't assume that somebody that walks across of you has something negative in mind. Like this trust, that I feel it's so important to give our kids the mindset that like people are good, people have good intentions, people want to grow. And I think this is
mhm,
something that like in neighborhoods in general we would need more, because I always tell the story also to my team. When we had the opportunity to build a house, and when we built a house, I was like shoveling tons of sand out of in the garden, and earth and stuff like that. And I had neighbors that vote definitely for AFD, and I had the chance to connect to them in real life, because
mhm.
we could trust on. There was like trust that the neighborhood kind of helps each other, and this is something that I would love to see more in a world that is very polarized. That people start thinking positive again, open doors again, trust each other again, because I think we live the example for our children, and we are lacking an opportunity here to show them a positive world and create very negative uh, 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 ground mindsets that we should break somehow. Yeah.
Philip, I'm getting goosebumps because I am all of two, and I think role modeling positivity and role modeling trust, Vertrauensvorschuss is always the word that I use. So trust in advance is urgently needed. And for me, there is this discussion if we see how AI is advancing, and also the fear of having AI next to us, that AI can distinguish humanity. There are these fears, but I strongly believe AI is only as good as we humans. So AI brings out of us humans the things that make us human, and what makes us humans are emotions, are connections, are speaking to each other, having discussions not on the surface, not doom scrolling on the surface, but really connecting with who we are. And I strongly believe that we are on an amazing path, because Gen Z is aware of the algorithm behind big social platforms. They know this. They don't want this. There are kids outside there that say no to smartphones, no to tablets. And I rather believe that in the future, doom scrolling will be diagnosed as a disease, and that there will be coming some barriers to really support what makes us human. And with that, I would like to close us off, because I feel like coming close to humanity and bringing the structure, what we have been talking about, society, neighborhood, role modeling. We have touched so many beautiful things, close to my values and how I see also close to your values. So, Philipp, thank you for your time. This has been the third episode of Shared by Design. We have been looking at how design, how sharing care is done within communities. Our next episode will be with Juliane, and there we will also dig deeper in how mothers and careers can also bring good to families. So thank you for being here with us, and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you. It was fun.